Hello, everyone. Hope you all had a good vacation, week vacation. I took one week off too, also. We were going to go down to visit our daughter, but she never did get back to us till too late. And then when she did, it was we had to say Wednesday, and we never did make it down because she said she was spending time with the Lord. So hallelujah. So now I'm back to my father's business, which I will be reading to you from Acts chapter 23, 1 through 35, which I think I have already done this, but I can't find it on the website. So unless somebody took it off and then they're gonna put it back on after I do this, I don't know. Chapter 24, 1 through 27. Yep, I sure did do this one, but it ain't on the website. So if it's on there twice, somebody took it down and trying to confuse me, which I know I done it, but since it's not there, I'm gonna have to put up another one. I'm gonna start by saying, let the most high words be true and every man a liar. Praise the Lord. Acts chapter 23. Then Paul, looking earnestly at the council, said, Men and brethren, I have lived in all good conscience before Elohim until this day. And the high priest Ananias commanded those who stood by him to strike him on the mouth. Then Paul said to him, Elohim will strike you, you whitewashed wall. That's what he said. For you sit to judge me according to the law, and do you command me to be struck contrary to the law? And those who stood by said, Do you reveal Elohim's high priest? Then Paul said, I did not know, brethren, that he was the high priest. For it is written, You shall not speak evil of a ruler of your people. So that means we're not supposed to speak ruler of our people, which is the president. But I don't know if this transferred to them or not, or this is what he's saying to them only, our people only, I don't know. So if you know, let me know. But when Paul perceived that one part were Sadducees and the other Pharisees, he cried out in the council, Men and brethren, I am a Pharisee, the son of a Pharisee. Concerning the hope and resurrection of the dead, I am being judged. And when he had said this, a decision arose between the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and the assembly was divided. For Sadducees say that there is no resurrection, and no angel or spirit, but the Pharisees confessed both. Then there arose a loud outcry, and the scribes of the Pharisees party arose and protested, saying, We find no evil in this man, but if a spirit or an angel has spoken to him, let us not fight against Elohim. Smart man. Now when there arose a great decision, the commander fearing lest Paul may be pulled to pieces by them, commanded the soldiers to go down and take him by force from among them and bring him into the barracks. But the following night, Yahuwah stood by him and said, Be of good cheer, Paul, for as you have testified for me in Jerusalem, so you must also bear witness at Rome. So the Most High is with him, and he's done nothing wrong, even in the eyes of the Most High. And when it was day, some of the Jews banded together and bound themselves under an oath. So they bound themselves under an oath, saying that they would neither eat nor drink till they had killed Paul. Now there were more than 40 who had formed this conspiracy. Wow, that is crazy. They don't know who child he is, and they finna get together and try to kill the Most High child that's doing the Lord's work. What pathetic men they are to have that thought in their mind. They came to the chief priests and elders and said, We have bound ourselves under a great oath that we will eat nothing until we have killed Paul. Now you, therefore, together with the council, suggest to the commander that he be brought down to you tomorrow, as you were going to make further inquiries concerning him. But we are ready to kill him before he comes near. So when Paul's sister's son heard of their ambush, he went and entered the barracks and told Paul. Then Paul called one of the centurions to him and said, Take this young man to the commander, for he has something to tell him. So he took him and brought him to the commander and said, Paul the prisoner called me to him and asked me to bring this young man to you. He has something to say to you. Then the commander took him by the hand, went aside and asked privately, What is it that you have to tell me? And he said, The Jews have agreed to ask that you bring Paul down to the council tomorrow, as though they were going to inquire more fully about him, but do not yield to them. For more than 40 of them lie in wait for him, men who have bound themselves by an oath that they will neither eat nor drink till they have killed him. And now they are ready, waiting for the promise from you. How can somebody have so much hatred to kill somebody over something they said? I can see if they did something, kill a child or kill a loved one, but for over something they said, many men have done that, but I just don't see the sense in it. It makes no sense to me. So the commander let the young man depart and commanded him, Tell no one that you have revealed these things to me. And he called for two centurions, saying, Prepare 200 soldiers, 70 horsemen, and 200 spearmen to go to Caesarea at the third hour of the night, and provide mounts to set Paul on, and bring him safely to Felix the governor. He wrote a letter in the following manner: Claudius Lysias, to the most excellent governor Felix, greetings. This man was seized by the Jews and was about to be killed by them. Coming with the troops, I rescued him, having learned that he was a Roman. And when I wanted to know the reason they accused him, I brought him before their counselor. I found out that he was accused concerning questions of their law. but had nothing charged against him deserving of death or chains. See, even that, they didn't even constitute as death or chains to have him chained up. And when it was told me that the Jews lay in wait for the man, I sent him immediately to you and also commanded his accuser to state before you the charges against him. Farewell. Then the soldiers, as they were commanded, took Paul and brought him by night to Antipatris. The next day they left the horsemen to go on with him and returned to the barracks. When they came to Caesarea and had delivered the letter to the governor, they also presented Paul to him. And when the governor had read it, he asked what province he was from. And when he understood that he was from Cecilia, he said, I will hear you when your accusers also have come. And he commanded him to be kept in Herod's praetorium. Man, I was there at one of their praetorium, Rome. Beautiful. Chapter 24. Now, after 5 days, Ananias, the high priest, came down with the elders and a certain orator named Tertullus. These gave evidence to the governor against Paul, and when he was called upon, Tertullus began his accusations, saying, seeing that through you we enjoy great peace and prosperity is being brought to this nation by your foresight. We accept it always and in all places, most noble Felix, with all thankfulness, nevertheless, not to be tedious to you any further, I beg you to hear by your courtesy a few words from us, for we have found this man a plague, a creator of decisions among all the Jews throughout the world, which is untrue because he hasn't preached all over the world. He only did it over there in Europe, in Jerusalem over there. So he wasn't everywhere over the world teaching this. And a ringleader of the sect of the Nazarenes, he even tried to profane the temple, and we seized him and wanted to judge him according to our law. But the commander Lysias came by and with great violence took him out of our hands, commanding his accusers to come to you. By examining him yourself, you may assert all these things of which we accuse him. And the Jews also ascended, maintaining that these things were so. Then Paul, after the governor had nodded to him to speak, answered, inasmuch as I know that you have been for many years a judge of this nation, I do the more cheerfully answer for myself, because you may assert as certain that it is no more than 12 days since I went up to Jerusalem to worship, and they neither found me in the temple disputing with anyone nor inciting the crowd, either in the synagogues or in the city, nor can they prove the things of which they now accuse me. But this I confess to you, that according to the way which they call a sect, so I worship the Elohim of my fathers, believing all things which are written in the law and in the prophets. And that's what we are supposed to do. We are supposed to believe. So, and we are supposed to worship our Elohim of our fathers, and believe in all things which are written in the law and in the prophets. Anything that's in this Bible, in the missing books of the Bible. We supposed to believe in all these things, really, and teach it. So he did nothing wrong. Even in the eyes of the Most High, he didn't do anything wrong. I hope in Elohim, which they themselves also accept, that there will be a resurrection of the dead, both of the just and the unjust. This being so, I myself always strive to have a conscience without offense toward Elohim and men. And see, and I try to do the same thing. I try not to offend the Americans by saying Elohim, because now we know who we are. The people that in the Bible, we know who we are. So we don't want to call him God anymore, because you all are still English people, and you live here, and we're getting ready to get taken from here someday. So we getting back to the way we used to call him, Elohim, and by the Hebrew names. So, but we don't want to offend you all here in your land. So I hope somebody understand us and don't get offended, because that's the devil that want us all hating each other and offended with each other. I have no grudges against Americans. So I don't know why, but a lot of people, even the Hebrew people that don't know they Hebrew, they still want to use the word God, and I have no problem with it. If you're not woke, stay asleep and keep calling him God. Because in your man said you still American. And now we know who we are. We the Hebrew people in the Bible. So we still consider ourselves Negro Americans, but now we know we the Hebrews that they're talking about in the Bible. But since we already been established as a people, I can't see them going back and saying, okay, putting on application Hebrew. I just can't see them doing it. Unless God touches somebody's heart, I can see them doing it then. But until that day come, we can say God or Hebrew. So sometimes you'll hear me saying God, so I don't offend these people in this country, because this is the language that they speak. And whenever we go into other countries, I try to learn some of their language. I can't learn all of it, but I try to learn Scotia a little. Just a little. And I couldn't learn pretty much none of the German language, no matter how much I tried. I just learned a few, and I mean just a few. Goodbye, and don't call this a number, and this number, and I mean, maybe I can count on 5 fingers of language that I learned in German. It was rough. It was that difficult. And needless to say, they were harsh with me when I went into the places and couldn't speak the language. I mean, when we were looking for the house, we got the phone hung up so many times. When I was sitting at home calling people, well, not him, because he was at work, so I had to do the calling. And boy, I got the phone hung up, and I don't know what they said before they hung up, but I just know I got the phone hung up so many times that I just said, I'm not calling nobody. We just gonna have to stay in Billington, which I knew we had to leave eventually, but thank God he put an angel in our way. Someone was married to a German lady and had a German wife. I think it was, or either she could speak German, I forget now. But God bless us with that person to cross our path, and he asked his wife to do the talking, and that's how we were able to get a place. So I feel sorry for any Americans over there. Now I feel sorry for you all if you can't speak that language. You may want to make German friends, or get in touch with someone that speak German fluently, or hopefully by now they know some English. Not saying that they have to learn English, but I'm just saying maybe to just to impress us, they started learning English. I don't know. I just know the Japanese people tried to do it on Okinawa. They some of them spoke English well, And I was impressed with it too. But they didn't have to learn it, but I was impressed that they took the time to do it. So, thank them for that. And Misawa, they didn't speak English, but we did something to get by. I don't know how it worked in Misawa, Japan, but it worked for us. So, and the people were so nice there in Misawa, and they didn't hang the phone up on us, and also in Okinawa. So that was a blessing in itself. And I'm not saying the Germans were mean, they were just impatient, which, some of the Americans were the same way, because the Japanese, when I worked for the telephone operator for the base, they said that a lot of Japanese people got cursed out and phone hung up in their face because they couldn't speak English. And some of them voiced it to me that I'm glad I got an English speaking person now, because I get sick of them. They need to learn how to speak English. And a lot of people said they do because they were working for the base. I thought at the time, hey, we're in their country. Why don't we learn to speak their language? But when you're working on a base, I guess they're right. Yeah, I guess you should learn how to speak the language. Just a little, just to get by. Just to communicate, I guess. Yeah, it would be good. But I didn't get offended by it. I just tried to speak in their language if I could. But only bad thing whenever I'm trying to talk in their language with them, I will forget it. Then I go home, now I'm talking in their language and everything, and I said, wow, this is crazy. Now I can speak in their language when I'm at home. But when I needed to bring it to memory out there where I need it, I would just have a brain fog. For some strange reason, it happened to me a lot. Now go figure. Now, after many years, I came to bring alms and offering to my nation, in the midst of which some Jews from Asia found me, purified in the temple, neither with a mob nor with humut. They ought to have been here before you to object if they had anything against me. And by the way, if someone don't speak English, please be nice to them and try to be understanding. I know I am if I see somebody that don't speak English, because I know what it feels like. Or else let those who are here themselves say if they found any wrongdoing in me while I stood before the council, unless it is for this one statement which I cried out, standing among them, concerning the resurrection of the dead. I am being judged by you this day. But when Felix heard these things, having more accurate knowledge of the way, he adjourned the proceedings and said, when Lassus, the commander, comes down, I will make a decision on your case. So he commanded the centurion to keep Paul and to let him have liberty, and told him not to forbid any of his friends to provide for or visit him. That's harsh for someone that did no wrong. And after some days, when Felix came with his wife Drusilla, who was Jewish, he sent for Paul and heard him concerning the faith in Hamashiach. Now as he reasoned about righteousness, self-control, and the judgment to come, Felix was afraid and answered, go away for now. When I have a convenient time, I will call for you. Meanwhile, he also hoped that money would be given him by Paul, that he might release him. Therefore he sent for him more often and conversed with him. But after 2 years, Pontus Porticus Fetus, Porcidius Fetus, I'm going to have to say that, succeeded Felix, and Felix, wanting to do the Jews a favor, left Paul bound. Everybody wants to do the Jews a favor, and they always give the Jews what they want. Now, I think that's just totally unfair to always trying to get favor with them by pleasing them. Wow. And left him in there, even though he was teaching about the Messiah, and they didn't want him bringing up the Messiah. They're going to be judged at the end for this, so don't nobody worry about it, because these Jews, that done this, they're going to be judged by what they done. Every word out of their mouth, they will be judged by that. So don't nobody worry about it. They're going to get theirs. Believe you me, they're going to get theirs. Every man and woman and child has his day with our Most High at the end, when the world ends. I just wouldn't want to be those Jews. I don't know about the Jews today, but I just wouldn't want to be those Jews back then, because they're going to get it. The end. And as you can see, I'm a little slower now because the day was long for me, and I'm tired. So everything went slow, so I wouldn't mess up a lot. And that's why everything was slow. So for those of you who want a good night's sleep, good night, you all. Love you. The Most High love. I wouldn't say he loved everyone, because he said anybody that don't love him is the Antichrist. Anybody that doesn't serve him is the Antichrist. That's what the good book says. So these good people on this earth, he's referring to you all that don't believe in him as the Antichrist. Anybody that don't believe in him or serve him, you are considered the Antichrist. And that's why I want to get you all saved. Because through the Messiah, because the Most High see you as the Antichrist. We may see you as good people on this earth, but the Most High see you as the Antichrist. That's his words. You can read the book to find out. But I just don't think you should live on this earth and do all your good deeds and then turn around and die, and then Judgment Day comes, you go into hell because you didn't believe and have faith, and you didn't come in through the Messiah and believe in him. I just hate seeing good people, that done everything good, did everything right, and then this is going to keep them out of heaven because they don't believe in no God, or maybe they do believe in a God, or whatever. They just don't believe in the living God. And I just hate to see them die and go to hell. And I tend to do wherever I can to reach you all, because there was some good people that helped me along the way, and I ran into a lot of good people that when you tell them what's going on, they jumped in and helped. And some probably didn't even tell me that they helped. Most probably didn't. But I'm always thinking of you good people, because y'all make the world a better place. You good people, set apart saints. We all make the world a better place. Whoever they're doing good and helping people and doing good and not trying to hurt people, not trying to do evil to someone, y'all, I just don't want to see you go to hell. That's just me. Even the Most High don't even want to see you go to hell. That's why he telling us to reach you all. And that's why I have to get out here and try to reach you all. I'm trying to reach you out through online, because I don't want nobody cursing me out, or, because a lot of people don't want to hear about him, and you can get, slapped in the mouth too by somebody. And, I would have to do like him And Chris Rock, I ain't got that power to refrain myself like Chris Rock did. He took it to another level. He gave me something that got me, to the point where I got to train myself just like Chris Rock. I got to be just like him. Now, there's some refrain and some straining that he did, and I don't have that, and that's why I have to ask the Most High to give me that, give me that strength to refrain myself if someone slaps me. So I'm not saying if they're trying to kill me now, that's a totally different story. But now if they just hit me or out of madness because I'm trying to teach the word, which I don't bring it up unless somebody asks me about them. So if you want to ask me about a question or something, and if I know it or if I don't know it, I tell you later on. You leave your number, and I tell you later on. I come in here and read it and try to find it for you, and get back to you. But I just don't want to see the good people of this earth go to hell. You deserve heaven more than any evil person on this earth. And the evil person can turn themselves around and repent and turn back to the Most High, and they can get strong in the Most High and become faithful, and then they get to go to heaven after all the evil stuff they done on this earth. And I'm thinking, you did so much good in your lives, you good people, you deserve to go to heaven. And that's why I'm sitting here talking, letting you know that you deserve this. This is for you. Our living God is for you. Have a blessed night and good night.